video is proudly supported by RM Risk Management, providing a comprehensive range of services tailored to UK property managers. Visit rmriskmanagement.co.uk to ensure a secure tomorrow. This video is brought to you by Tilton Road, the home of unique Birmingham City fan merchandise. From classic designs to fresh drops you won't find anywhere else, they've got every Bluenose covered. Check out the full range now at tiltonroad.com. If you're looking for a way to make football matches more exciting without throwing your money away this season, then you need to download Tipple. Tipple is a free-to-play prediction game built for fans of all 92 English League clubs, perfect to play with your mates while watching the football. Each week you'll be challenged to predict 6 correct results from 20 fixtures across the Premier League, Championship, League 1 and 2. And it's just the results. No scorelines, no budgets, no transfers and no overthinking. So pick your 6, climb the table and rule the group chat with Tipple. The link to download the app is in the description and use this code on screen right now to join our Blues Focus League. Thank you to Tipple for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Unplugged. I am Josh, your host today, joined by Kieran. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Hopefully this week we'll have a little bit better communication.
This is where I'm going to start the dampener. If there is anybody who is currently watching this live on Facebook, can comment, only because my side is telling me we're not live on Facebook, but when I go to sort it, it tells me that we're live. So if there is anybody on Facebook, can you just let us know, or can someone check and let me know, kind of thing. Hopefully today we don't have connection issues. Everything seems to be working well so far. So obviously, big week we're going to talk about today. We're obviously going to talk about the elephant in the room of the 1-0 loss to Port Vale last night. Maybe have a little conversation about Leicester on Friday. Obviously, the transfer window closes on Monday, so we'll have a quick discussion about who we would like to see come in. Let us, as always, let us know in the comments what your thoughts and opinions are. Let us know who you'd like to see. Let us know what your thoughts on yesterday's game. And yeah, just get yourself involved, and we'll try and see as many comments as we can. But more important, how you been? How's the week been?
Yeah, been good. Fairly good week. Nice, easy, stress-free week at home. Obviously, been in the family and stuff, but it's I left last week's stream a little bit stressed because of all the technology ups and downs we had. But soon got over that. But yeah, had not a bad week. Obviously, come and see you guys at the weekend. And then yeah, watched the football yesterday. So not too bad. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. Chilled on with the kids as always. Obviously, as you should. Went to the park the other day. Not a lot to else we've done. When you got a 1-year-old that doesn't want to sit still, it's hard to plan to do something, which is fun like this chicken. Start off, we'll talk about weekend. Obviously, we 1-0 win over Oxford. I don't know how that wasn't 4-5, 6-0. I know that in our match preview with Sam, the guy from the Oxford side said, "Oh, your boy said yesterday it's going to look 4 or 5-0. That ain't going to happen. It'll probably be a 1-0." And we found that quite funny in the group chat. And then it was quite funny at the end of it when it was only 1-0. But what positives did you take from that?
I thought against a Gary Rowett team, we looked really good. And yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't 4 or 5-0. Yeah, Josh, your audio is a little bit muffled, so put your mic closer to you. I was a little bit gutted it was only 1-0. It's going. That's almost becoming the new typical Blues, if you like. Playing a team off the park and only getting a 1-goal win margin, but I was really happy with that, and then I was quite excited for how yesterday should have gone, but wasn't to be. But we'll tell one thing at a time. What did you take from it?
I don't know if my audio is any better. I've changed it to come from my
better.
AirPods. Yeah, perfect. Oxford was a lot of positives, a lot of frustrations as well. as the person doing, obviously, I was doing the comms for that game as for Blues Focus. It was very stressful to watch and Kyogo to be missing the chances he's missing. Obviously, we all know that Kyogo can score goals. We've all seen what he did at Celtic.
Yeah.
I kind of felt for him a little bit because it just weren't his day. The chance is going to come. He's going to get a goal or two in a game, and it's going to just boost him, and he's going to score. He's going to have that kind of effect that Alfie May had, if you remember from the documentary. He was talking. He went 15, 16 games without scoring, and then he went and scored on 7 or 8 on the bounce. Kyogo's going to have that, and when that happens and that little click happens and the goals are coming, it's going to be exciting to see. Obviously, like you said, it's a typical Rowett performance. Don't take a battering. If you're going to lose, take a 1-0 loss. And fair play to them. They're not the strongest of teams. They're not going to be the best team that's going to come to St Andrews this season, but they definitely caused us a lot of frustrations and definitely
they were
showed
looking not to grab a draw at the end though.
Yeah,
that one chance at the end, it was a bit like, oh Christ, like that would have gone in.
I seen a tweet yesterday after the Port Vale game, which we'll get onto in a sec, said, "Name me a team in the country that's worse on set pieces than us. We are awful with attacking them. We are awful when it comes to defending them.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we have a set piece guy. Like you look at the big teams like Arsenal and United and Chelsea's and stuff, all talk about them now. Don't know if we have that person, but that is something that I don't know if you agree, but it's something we definitely need to improve on is defending and attacking. Set pieces were just awful.
Yeah, yesterday especially, we didn't look like we had a clue what was going on. They threatened 4 or 5 times with the exact same set piece before the goal, and we didn't adjust to it at all. And I said, I think it was a corner or 2 before. I said to my missus, I was like, they're going to score from one of these in a minute if they carry this on. And then there it was, and it was obvious it was coming. We were the second to every single ball in that first half.
Yeah.
Like every single first ball, we were second to. Every second ball, we were second to. It was horrific. I do think usually from corners and stuff, we're a lot more assured with Clara in the team. I don't think Newman's quite got that commandingness down to a T yet.
I was going to say, I seen yesterday someone put, this is the Birmingham City that people don't realise without Iwata. And I was like, I think I texted it to you, and I was like, we missed Clara massively yesterday. That presence, and I don't think it was just that. As much as I like Mark Leonard, I don't think he's got the leadership side of it. And I don't think there was a leader on that pitch that was stepping up and saying something. Because you've seen it when Stansfield come on, that he come on and he was shouting at players, and then the game kind of, Pate come on and controlled that game. But that first half, they didn't have that voice where they normally got Clara behind. And it kind of seemed like Neumann could have been that guy, but was kind of still like, I'm the new guy. I don't want to push boundaries at the moment. He just seemed a bit off it. Cashin had a really good game against Sheffield United. And we had a conversation, and I was like, he looks like a really good player. He was awful yesterday. I said it to you. Second half, it took him to the 78th minute to pass the ball forward. It went sideways or backwards. And that was
the same
Mark
with
Roberts.
Mark Leonard.
Yeah. But it was like Mark Roberts all again.
Yeah.
Long throws and passing the ball sideways and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Beadle doesn't quite have the same output as what Alsop does. So it's like even when it was going back there, it was then just going to one of the defenders. It wasn't really ever going long or where it needed to go at least. But with 10 changes, that's a whole new team that's played. I do think it was kind of a match to play for the window, if that makes sense. I think a few of those players might be on their way out of the club, and that was just this is your last chance saloon, play well or play yourself out of the club. So I do think there was a little bit of that yesterday. 10 changes is a mad amount of changes to have. But I do still think when I saw that team lineup beforehand, I did think we'd still got this, and it turned out we didn't.
Yeah. Like this. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. But as you said here, personally, I think we're aiming too high. I'd be happy with a top 10 finish. I said this at the beginning of the season. Anywhere between 8th and 14th would have been, before the transfer window started, that's where I said I feel like we finish. I'd still take that now, because I feel like, as much as the fans would love it and what it would do for the club to be back in the Prem, I think maybe it might be a season too quick. It could be that we bring in some other players. Obviously, we'll talk about the transfer window the next couple, well, in a bit. But we've still got 4 days left of it.
Yeah.
There could be 3 players that not Eustace. Davis is wanting, going back a bit there.
Yeah.
It's been a long week. But yeah, I feel like, personally, people thinking too high. As he's put it here, Brighton fans wanted to cash in. Yeah, he just looked a bit sloppy last night. But we'll get on to talk about last night. Obviously,
I don't think we're aiming too high. I just think we made 10 changes. That was never going to be our first team going out there. I do still think we're quite thin on the ground in a few positions. As soon as I saw Taylor Gardner-Hickman as a defender, I thought, oh Christ, here we go. And then he's not a defender at all. He's just about a midfielder.
He had a good couple of games last season in that right back position, but I think we were in. I think we had easier opponents. Say it in the nicest way possible. We had easier opponents to play against, where he kind of could play that role a bit better. Where I feel like we'd now be caught out. I feel like Laird should have come on a lot sooner. Obviously, it was good to see that Cochrane weren't going to be out for a long time, and he was back in the pitch, and he just slotted back in and played normal. But BCFC Tubbs has put it here, and I want to mention him before we go on to the negative side of things. Kumas looks incredible.
Yeah, he looks like he would be a great player from the outset. He was definitely the shining light on the pitch last night by a fair margin. And I do think him opposite Dimmy and working with Dimmy and Cashin and
Keshi,
I said Keshi. But yeah, I do think those working together, he'll learn a bit, and I do think he'll get a good amount of playing time. He certainly didn't do himself any injustice coming on yesterday and playing. And even Davis then today mentioned it in his press conference, like specifically about him, that he's going to do really well here because he gives me everything I want out of a player.
Yeah, it kind of got to the point, it summed it up where the first half, I think it was the ball come down the left-hand side. Nothing had happened for the first 13, 14, 15 minutes of the game. Like, there was literally nothing to report. And then it got that one chance. He's down the left, he works it inside, and he played really good pass with Dykes, which is a really weird thing to say because he had a howler as well. But he played a nice little touch with Dykes, and it cut to him on the inside, and he just dragged his shot. He just fired it wide.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you think how Gray started so far, and Kyogo started with that pace of attacking down, and Stansfield's got that, and you bring that into it. He is, as we discussed it, he's that player that is front line. He can play in any 4, and he's just that interchanging player. And I think the quality he's got, he's going to bring, is good. I did want to mention about Dutch, because I feel like a lot of people haven't written. Not many people have said a lot on his performance. I think he played really well for the first half with his little link-up game. His little link. Bearing in mind, people are forgetting he's just come back from a serious injury. He's still. They've already said he's still not 100%. He's probably about 75, 80%, but he's not 100%.
I do think
so
he was. he was a step ahead of the players around him as well. I think, like, I just think he was one step ahead. So that'll come with playing with a team. Like it'll
Yeah.
get it done. But yeah, I
I
do
feel
think he
like
had a decent game.
I feel like he would, because it was you had obviously the point of Dux was that 10 and Dykes was that striker, and Dux obviously was dropping in and he was coming to the ball and he was linking with Kanya, and Gardner Hickman, and then playing it out to Leonard, and then it'd get to the left hand side, it'd get to Kumas and he'd attack, and it'd come back into middle of the park, and Tommy Doyle just seemed off it as well. I don't know whether that was just again lack of game time or what it was, but he seemed to play that, if I say like Harry Kane-esque role where you'd
Yeah,
expect striker, but he drops in and he gets that ball and he'll just feed it out wide, and then he was sprinting down. And I thought he was underappreciated what he was actually doing. He didn't do a lot. He didn't really get a chance to do a lot. But
yeah,
obviously coming off at half time, thinking that he's just had an injury, it's probably best just to give him 45 minutes and work him into it. Port Vale were up for it. Let's be honest, they were going to put every tackle in. They were going to go for it, and Darren Moore's got them playing really well. Like they're playing good football. Obviously, they've just got a promotion. They're now in League One, and they're going to try and push to stay in that league. And they defensively they were solid. They putting their bodies on the lines for everything, and you can't argue in that situation. The problem was
yeah.
there was nothing then around that to take from it to build on for us.
I do think Tommy Doyle maybe struggled because we didn't have any speed going forward. When you got Dykes in front of you, you kind of missing. I think with that, where he was dropping to, the Harry Kane's a good example when he had Son, and like Son would then push forward and be that pace in through. I think that could be really good with Kyogo or Stano, but I don't think Dux and Dykes should be on the field together. They're too lumpy. Like in terms of speed, they need someone fast with them behind, and I think that could really work. But what I didn't understand as well is we take those two off and then start crossing the ball when we brought on Stansfield, and you're just like, why have we just started crossing the ball now when we've took the big guys off? We tried to play through when we had the big lumpy guys on, and then played into the box when we brought the smaller guys on. It was kind of like it was the wrong way around a little bit.
Yeah, I said this to my partner yesterday. I said, for some reason, we've got 2 6'2+ players on the pitch, and every ball went into their feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as soon as we've got 2 players under 6 foot, we're putting it in the air. I am now hoping, just to quickly interrupt it, I have just reconnected Facebook, so hopefully we might get some of the Facebook viewers now coming in, because I did have a look and it hadn't connected. So if you are joining us on Facebook, hello. Let's go through the comments quickly before we get on to any points. Leonard was sat back too deep left. Tommy to try covering him. Dux couldn't do what he should. I totally agree with you there. Dux wasn't given. I said he's given that free reign of right, just playing that to deeper role if you want to, but didn't seem to get his flow going. Although Stanner and Clara agreed, Gary. Although Stanner and Clara do feel like they do a lot. There we go. Still think Blues haven't got enough big nasty players in the squad that can take the game by the scruff of the neck.
Well, that's where Clara comes in, isn't it? He's our bruiser. Like someone like a Barry Ferguson or someone like that in the midfield would go away. I think we've got Tomoki Iwata does a lot of the dirty work, but he does it quite well rather than just smashing into people. Someone like a Savage in the middle of the field for dirty games like that could be ideal. Because that someone to wind them up. That's what we haven't got. I don't think this season is like someone like May last year was winding people up as he's playing. But it is what it is with him going. But I don't think we've got anybody that's really winding the opposition up or getting in their heads.
I think the only person you've really got that, obviously everyone knows we call them shithouses, The only really shit house we've got is Stansfield, and I don't think he's quite May-esque, Vardy-esque, that kind of role. Dux obviously said he likes to have a good wind up, so he might be the player once he's getting fit that comes in and just winds people up. But you look back at, and I use it as talking to someone earlier. You look at the 2011 Carling Cup winning team, and we had Lee Bowyer and Barry Ferguson. There were two players that didn't take shit from anyone. They
just kick you if you're going to try and go past them.
If you obviously everyone watched the game. Majority of people hopefully watch the game if you were born at the right time. But you see it when their goal comes in and our defenders are just kicking the shit out of Robin van Persie he scores, but it injured him, and it was kind of like that's what we had back then with Roger Johnson, Scott Grant, Stephen Carr. It was an absolute monster.
And it's Liam not only that, it's like when Obafemi Martin scores that goal, he runs past Koscielny and smacks him on the back of the head, Lee Bowyer does. Like, it's little things like that you just rile players, get inside their heads, and if we had that, I think it'd be decent. Someone like those two, Barry Ferguson, Lee Bowyer, Robbie Savage.
As much as I hate him as a person off the pitch, for a shithouse, someone like Joey Barton was great for it because he didn't.
But he wound his own team up as well. That's the.
Someone like Roy, someone like the Joey Barton or the Roy Keanes, you don't get them in football anymore. Viz has just put here, I've seen a post earlier on Facebook saying Stansfield was taken to hospital by his brother and he was struggling to walk. Obviously, he went down injured towards the end of the game and then seemed to find his injury hadn't hurt him that much when he got up at the end of the game and ran at the defender or goalkeeper to go and have a go. Hopefully it's nothing serious. I haven't actually watched.
Chris Davis says that he may miss Leicester.
Okay.
He's picked up a bit of a knock. He was being assessed whilst he was being interviewed, because obviously it only happened last night. So the medical team were assessing him today, but he's might miss Leicester.
Okay, makes sense, obviously.
And then Alex Dickens has come out after that and said it's looking likely, or it's 50-50 if he'll make it, basically.
Well, it gets you on top, but we'll go back and talk about portfolio in a second. But it makes you worry with a performance like last night, missing someone like that against Leicester. But we'll go a couple of comments. Chris has put here, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has been paid out, so he's a free agent. Last position was central midfielder. Could obviously we had the rumours the other week about Oxlade-Chamberlain coming in. Could it be he is the guy? He comes in and he's experienced enough to know what he's doing, and I feel like someone like him last night in that team would have took the role of a captain and controlled the leadership side with the experience. Do you think that's could be someone that we could look at?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain comes in and takes Tomoki Iwata or Peik out of the team, but what he could do is bring in that little bit of a nasty side or a little bit of fire. He's also a great passer, but they've just paid him £1.35 million to terminate his contract. So, like, realistically, how good is he going to be? I know Gray left and had his contract terminated, but like they've paid him 1.35 million to terminate his contract. So I think it's a massive risk, but if Chris Davis thinks that's what we want and need, I'm all down for giving it a go. It's on his shoulders at the end of the day, but I don't think he's quite nasty like we were saying. I think he's another great little ball player, and those through balls for Kyogo and Stano would be unreal. Tom Ross did say he had a boot on at training this morning. Stansfield did, but that was only as a precaution before assessment.
But obviously, you look at these. We keep saying these big bruiser players, and if you generally look at football nowadays, do many teams really have one? Because I wouldn't ever consider. You look at Man City, for example. Obviously, controlled English football for 4 years, last 10 years, really, haven't they? And they rely on Rodri. And I wouldn't call Rodri a bruiser player. He's just in the right place at the right time. He doesn't go lunging in at tackles like the old school bruiser players do. But is that the kind of new
That's
bruiser
where you
player
got
you
Smokey
have?
Iwata and Paik. They're just really elegant in disposing the opposition of the ball, which is what Rodri does and is what David Silva used to do. And then their level is they were just another level going forward. Where Tomoki Iwata's passing is all right. His shooting obviously is 10-10 bullet trains. But I think Paik's passing is 10-10 and his shooting is less to be desired. So I think together they match, they work.
The perfect
together
player
they're 10-10 at both.
Yeah. It made me laugh because I was watching the Oxford game the other day, and Pake's picked the ball up at left back off Laird. He's come back into that because he does that so well, don't he? When he just drops into defence, takes the ball and control, and he's literally took the ball, just put it through the player's legs, and he's just Gerrard-esque it to the corner flag. See you later, Tubbs. Have a good night at work. Go 1-1 Friday. I'd take that. So have a good day at work, mate, and we'll see you next time. But yeah, he just took it through the player's legs, and he just absolutely launched it into the right-hand corner, where obviously it works well that you've got players like Led and Brightside Samuel that run on and just take them on. But he just so easy doing it, and then you'll carry on watching the game, and I kind of like to watch the game. You watch the ball, but I like to watch how other players move around. And I thought I'll have a couple of minutes watching Paik because some people do that. But within about 5 seconds, he was on the edge of the box. He plays his 40-yard pass, and then he's almost at the end of the pass by the time it's got there.
Yeah,
to take it in, and he's an absolute workhorse, isn't it?
I was told by a friend of mine that is in the scouting team was like, if you watch the game, you barely see Paik, but if you watch Paik, you see the whole game. Yeah, I said that to you, didn't I, last season when we were at the game? You were like, oh, I don't think he's really done anything. I said, just watch him, and you'll see everything happen because he was just like a little tap here, a little tap there, a little tackle there, a little flick on when someone's going through, and he's just like flicked it off their foot and to our player, but his movement is unreal. And I know his English isn't the best, but I did watch his interview the other day, and it has got a lot better. But he's constantly pointing at people to be somewhere and support there and go there, and I think like he's unreal. If you're at the game, Juzza, if you're at the game, literally just spend 5 minutes of the game. Don't follow the ball. Just watch Paik. It is unreal.
I've done it a few times where you watch Paik, and the best time to watch him, you don't want to watch the first 5 minutes of the game or the last 5 minutes of the half, because it's kind of one of those where you're not really focused. It's kind of the game's dying off. You want to, if you're watching it the first half, about 15-20 minutes into the game is when you start realizing that he's controlled that first 15-20 minutes, whether we're 90% of the ball or 90% off the ball. After about 15-20 minutes, you'll see him starting to come into play. And I was about to say it before you mentioned it, is he doesn't speak the best of English, and he's learning, but he's constantly communicating with players. And there was something that I had the fortunate job of yesterday of going to photograph the Birmingham City under-18s against Middlesbrough. So obviously got talking to a few players there, seen Mike Skinner, and was talking to some of the social media guys, and was asking about Paik, and we were talking about Iwata and stuff like that. Paik has a thing with the players where they know what he wants without him having to say anything, just by little movements. And you always see the reference of comedians call it where a manager looks like a drunk on a park bench, just shouting and pointing and whatever. Paik is like that, but he doesn't need to talk. If he's pointing somewhere, and he could put different amount of fingers up, and people will know what he's gesturing from that. And he really does control the game, and it is very enjoyable if you watch him. yeah, Gary's just put Kumas looked okay, bit disappointed with Doyle and Leonard. I seen something that said Leonard was given the captaincy as a way of saying goodbye. It was his like last game. We'll make you captain. You're going kind of thing. And to be fair, his performance kind of showed if that was true. But yeah, there's a lot of
He
negatives
couldn't
yesterday.
control the ball. Yesterday, he really let himself down. Yesterday, I think he had a real opportunity. He's one of the players that people have been saying he needs to play more, needs to play more, needs to play more, and then he comes in the team like that yesterday. He struggled to control the ball. He passed backwards a lot, and then that was then amplified by Cashin passing backwards a lot.
Yeah.
So it kind of like every time we got forward, and the perfect example is when Alex Cochrane come on in the second half. He was like taking up his normal forward positions, and the ball had come to him, and the only ball he could do was like either knock it down the wing or pass it sideways, and then it would go backwards anyway, or he'd just pass it backwards and it went backwards. Like it was quite disjointed, and you don't get that usual flow, and there was none of that little tippy tappy football that we've been doing, where you've got Pakin Iwata and like Gray or Doyle, for example, where they're all ballers. There was none of that connection, you say. I do think Kumas with those players would look unreal. So I'm
Yeah.
quite excited for that.
I think you had it the second half. You had probably a 5-minute spell where it was Cochrane, Stansfield, and Paik on that left hand side, and you instantly saw that ticky tacky football come back out, and they were down the left hand side or running. But then that was where the problem was, that you took Dykes off and you took Ducks off. Of okay, we can get down there, and everyone knows what kind of ball Cochrane could put in the box. If you put a Djukovic in that box, or even a Ducks or a Dykes, he's putting it on your head. But when you've got 5'4" Kyogo trying to jump up on that, don't get me wrong, he's got a good leap on him, but
Yeah.
it's not that good. Lee, welcome back, mate. See you every week. Good to see you again. And you're here again to tell us to sign Tom Fellows for £20 million. One day, Lee, we will come on and say we've signed Tom Fellows for £20 million, and
Well, hopefully
Lee might
next
as well
Monday.
get some of the commission from it, because he keeps pushing for Tom Fellows to Birmingham for £20 million. At least it's not £20 this week, eh, mate?
Yeah.
But yeah, Tom Fellows, I feel like he could be a good player, but again, I don't think he's that ruthless player that we're looking for. Obviously, we've got the weekend.
Kieftenbeld is a player we need. Someone like that. Just come in 3 seconds into a game, double foot someone, and set the tone from the outset. Yeah.
You kind of need
sort of player.
You need the player that is basically Clara as a midfielder. And I said it to Holly yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, that's a bit controversial. You need to mention it on the podcast." I think that's where we're going to regret Salim Bielik, because I feel like he would be that player yesterday that would have led the game and took control in that defensive role. He could have dropped in that centre half position and gone with Cashin and Neumann and give them that kind of stability. I feel like he is that ruthless player of today that would have been perfect for yesterday, but obviously the West Brom.
Yeah, do you know who I was thinking about horrible players that if they come back and played in this current team would be Hannibal. I'd really like Hannibal in this team. He could ball with the ball at his feet. He could pass through. He was fast, but he was a shithouse and he put in tackles. Like, I think he'd do really well in this team.
Yeah.
But
he's a Burnley now, isn't he, in the Premier League? So
the end of the day, the changes we made, it was always going to be a bit of a disjointed game. I do think, as Chooser just said, that Chooser has just said that on paper it still should have been a win, but it did feel like we made 10 changes. It didn't feel like when we went 1-0 down. I didn't actually think, for the first time in a while, we'll come back and save this. I thought, Christ, here we go. This could be another Bolton away. And then thankfully it only stayed 1-0, but they had opportunities. That one where
They had that.
they nearly passed it in and it just went to the right of the post.
Yeah,
Like
that was a very close opportunity.
Like they could have actually been 3-4-0 up.
Yeah.
So I was quite happy with 1-0. But at the end of the day, we're out of the cup. We can now focus on the league and try and see a positive from that, I guess.
We'll just win the FA Cup instead. We'll just make sure our
Yeah.
owners only own one football club and we actually can get into Europa League next year. But yeah, I'm not really. I say it now. I'm not really fussed on being knocked out of the cup. If we were still in the next round of the cup, I'd be sat here waiting for the draw tonight. Go, come on, Man United or something like that. But
Yeah.
It's one of those where I'm going to apologise now if anyone hears my child. She's decided not to go to sleep. But you got the draw tonight, and it's horrible not to see it because I think, like I said it earlier, fair play to Darren Moore. He got his tactics right, and he got his squad right, and he got it all perfect for the game. Especially to come to Blues, 22,000 people there. That's not an easy thing to do. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have a cup run. Everyone would. We love the fact that we won it 2011.
I hope they don't get like Tottenham away or Everton away because that'd annoy me because that would have been the game I would have wanted.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a game that we want, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
But yeah, as much as I want to say, being out of the cup don't bother me. It does. I'd have liked a cup run just to chance of going to Old Trafford or Anfield or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, we'll be able to do it next season when we're in the Prem, but it'd have been nice this season. But it makes you question, where does the blame lie for yesterday? Do you blame the 11 players, the 15 players on the pitch, or does it come down to Davis picking 10 players and not having that right?
I don't think I would place the blame anywhere. We all know Davis's mentality is to win every game. I do think he still believed that with the team lineup. Like when I saw the lineup, I thought, yeah, we've got enough quality there to do it anyway. I just think it was the fact that it was very disjointed. 3 of the players were brand new to the team entirely. That's quite a big change. And then I just think a few of the players didn't have their best games, and it was accumulation of things. So I wouldn't necessarily blame anybody in that situation. It's a 1-0 loss. I think we just get back to it and get on the hype train. We're still unbeaten in the league at home, and that's the record we need to maintain. So no blame for me. Nobody is like that specific person was to blame. Not even Lyndon Dykes this week, and I've been actually quite impressed with Lyndon Dykes this year so far. Not really impressed, but he's proven me wrong in terms of like he's doing the basics good. I just think he runs out of steam a little bit fast when he's trying to press. And you do notice a massive difference between Kyogo and Stano and him. But like I do think he's really upped his game this season, and he's given more to the team. So I'm quite happy with that. And Lyndon, if you're watching, keep it up.
Yeah. Obviously, in a couple of comments talking about Ben Davis, I'm going to highlight this one from Chuzza.
Yeah.
Not that one, this one. It's going to be seriously weird playing Oxford away with Ben Davis in their backline. Now, I put this in our group chat because I found it hilarious that they announced him the morning that we played them. And they announced him by announcing all the stats that he got for Birmingham City last season, kind of a thing. I generally think he is a player that we should have gone and got.
Especially for the money.
He's on talks on loan. On season-long loan from Rangers. But from what we got rumoured that it was like 750k or something stupid like that for him. I think you should have. We should have gone with him there. That would give us that ruthlessness. But if he's wanting obviously first team football and playing every week, I think he's going to be a great signing for Oxford. He was quality for us as much as He didn't really do it at Preston last time he was in the Championship. He obviously started with Liverpool, went to Preston, Rangers, then got the move. And they've had a good season with us. So I feel like he's going to be good for those. Big up Lyndon if you're watching. If you're watching Lyndon, keep going, mate. Lee's got go to win at Leicester. Leicester 1, Birmingham 3 on Friday. Obviously, that we'll use that and segue our way into Leicester away on Friday. 8 o'clock kickoff live on Sky at the King Power Stadium. And it's one of those where they've not, as you can see, running across the bottom. We've got a few of the results from both teams. They've not had a good start. Let's put it that way. My best friend being a Leicester fan, Harry, if you're watching, I know you said you were going to check in, but if you're watching, hello. But Leicester haven't had a good start. Obviously, season they beat Sheffield Wednesday, just about beat Sheffield Wednesday due to Barry Bannon getting sent off. Then obviously lost to Huddersfield on penalties in the cup. Then lost to Preston, and then the other day they only just beat Charlton. Sitting 7th in the league. Obviously, this is a team that everyone expected them to come in and dominate the league like they did last time. But talking to my mate the other day, and he was like, 3 of their best players are currently on the way out the door, so they're not going to be involved in the team on Friday. One of their other best players is injured. One of their other players doesn't want to play for the club. And he was like, the club's an absolute shambles. And he was like, if we play the way we played against Blackburn and Oxford and even against Ipswich, he was like, he can see us giving them an absolute hiding. Obviously, don't want to boost it too much that that's going to happen. But where are your thoughts going into Leicester on Friday?
I got a soft spot for Leicester for what they did for our charity event when I did that. So going to the stadium it's quite a cool stadium. It's big. It's got lots of history. Their fans are loud. I think we'll be up against it, but I don't think they've started great. So I'd be happy with a draw. I'd absolutely love a win. But I think either way it'll be a close game. And a Lyndon Dykes brace for a 2-1 win.
So I'd probably go similar scoreline of 2-1. Probably not Lyndon Dykes to score a brace though. I feel like this could be the game that helps Kyogo. Only because of the fact of you hear everyone talk. We've talked about it in the past on here how intimidating St Andrews can be. Imagine being a foreign player that's never played there, and then yes, okay, they're backing you, but let's be honest, Blues fans can be a bit not the best set of fans in the world at times. Especially when you've missed 2 or 3 chances, they can get on your back, and it can be a big knock. Where I feel like if you go to Leicester, where he's going to have 3,500 fans backing him, and 30,000 fans trying to put him off, and he's going to sit there and go, "This is what I'm used to with Celtic. Let me just focus into that mind." I feel like he potentially may score, and I'd love Dimmy Gray to get a goal. He's played absolutely incredible the last start of the season, incredible. So I go 2-1 with Dimmy and Kyogo scoring. But we went Leicester away last time we were in the Championship 2 years ago. It's a good away day, a great away day. We were loud, obviously, as always, fans go in. But like you said, it's a good stadium, good atmosphere, good connection in there. So yeah, I feel like go and push and get go get a 2-1
I think it will be a good game, but yeah, I reckon a 2-1 win will be nice and tasty.
I'd take that now anyway. But we won't talk too much on Leicester. Make sure you catch Tommy on his podcast tomorrow. I believe he's going out tomorrow, doing a bit more of a build-up to the Leicester game. So he'll get in some more information and obviously get your comments and stuff below. But if we just go back to some of the other results that happened last night, obviously you probably hadn't seen many because you asked me what other results happened yesterday. Sheffield Wednesday beating Leeds on penalties, 3-0. Leeds just missed them all. I said to you earlier, Dominic Calvert-Lewin come on for his debut and missed 3 absolute sitters in the 10 minutes he was on the field. And then you look at Huddersfield, who knocked Leicester out of the Cup, have now gone a lot Premier League. Sunderland out of the Cup. Could it be a year that we get an underdog story in the Cup?
I don't think you can say that until you start seeing the big wigs, start seeing the Man Cities and Arsenal's are coming in and seeing how they're playing and how serious they're taking the cups.
Yeah.
Because that's when it takes it up another league. I love an underdog story, and I would love someone who isn't expected to win it. Don't know what's going on in my car park. I apologise. But yeah, I'd love an underdog story to come through and it be something like that. But when you bring the big teams in, I think it's a game changer.
Evening, Corey. We are well. Thank you very much, mate. How are yourself? Let us know your thoughts on yesterday's game as well.
And that's the first Facebook comment, so we are definitely live on Facebook.
We've got a few people coming through via Facebook now, but it's
nice.
I don't know what happened, so apologies. You might all be about half an hour behind. But yeah, we are good, mate. What did you think of yesterday's game? Let us know below. Also, we've had a good discussion. It wasn't obviously the greatest game, but I didn't want to hear from you guys. One thing I want to talk to you about. We were meant to talk about this last week, but the unknown issues happened. After Friday, obviously, we go into a 2-week international break.
Yeah.
So let's switch the attention from Birmingham to England. We'll have the dreaded conversation we always have about where it's going to go. Obviously, we've got a World Cup qualifying game. I'm not sure. I know we've got Andorra. Not sure who the other game's against. But World Cup 2026 in America. What's your early predictions? Where do you reckon we do?
England to win it, Stansfield to score a winner in front of Tom Brady, and Tom Brady don't know whether to celebrate or not.
Okay, that's good. Are we beating America in the final?
No, they'll get nowhere near. But they'll vicariously live through Jay Stansfield.
But if USA are not in the final, Brady's obviously going to celebrate, isn't he? If it's Stansfield scoring a winner past the USA in the final in America, maybe Tom Brady
think
has to give us the trophy.
The World Cup could be quite good for us with the amount of international players we've got.
Yeah,
like we could see some proper time in the World Cup for our players, which would be nice. I do think, realistically, without Gareth Southgate, I think we're going to flop. I really do. I do think England are going to flop. They haven't looked great.
Clip it, boys. Get that one on social media. Kieran thinks England are going to flop in the World Cup. Just going to go back to Corey's comment. Not too bad, mate. Yesterday's game was a little disappointing considering the chances, but bias ref. Your thoughts? Obviously, we haven't had a discussion about the referee. I think we've had
all
worse.
Referees are wankers.
Apart from the one where against Oxford, he was good, but he was a Premier League ref.
Yeah, but he was also the second most complained about ref in the whole of the EFL, in the whole of the Premier last year.
Yeah, had a really good game. Obviously, we discussed it already. I think it was a bit of 10 changes, probably didn't help. A few new players. It was just about Bielsa. We didn't have that bruiser in the middle to control the game. Really, we didn't have a leader. But yeah, disappointing. Obviously, it is what it is to lose to a League One team. What else can we do? But going back onto England, not even necessarily just England. You look at the international break. We sat working out the other day. You've got the potential of Clara potentially getting called up to Austria. which if they don't, I think it's ridiculous. You've got Damari Gray will go away with Jamaica. You've got Kyogo, Iwata, Paik will all go away with into South Asia. We've got a lot of players. Lyndon Dykes, Mark Leonard will go away with Scotland. There's a lot
Scotland
of
in the World Cup.
I don't know if they're in the World Cup, but they'll have an international break though, won't they? They'll do friendlies, and it's World Cup qualifiers, so they could be trying to qualify. I'll see if they've got who they're playing actually. But there's a lot of players that potentially could be going away. Now that could go one or two ways for us. It could go really well in. They'll go away, have a good time away, get some good minutes under their belt, come back stronger, better. But there's also the issue of they could go away, get injured.
Yeah.
And obviously we've got the transfer window till Monday. But international break coming up, the amount of players we could have potentially going, do you see it as a good thing, or do you see it more as like the negative side of it?
At least they're going to do World Cup qualifiers, so they're actual like games that count.
Yeah.
If they were just friendlies, I don't see the point in them in the middle of a season.
So Scotland on Friday played Denmark in a World Cup qualifier. So again,
they'll lose.
Probably. I was just trying to see if they've got another game maybe in the week after. Because you usually have 2 games.
Andorra
and Serbia. So Serbia is a World Cup qualifier. Andorra is, I'm assuming, just a international friendly. I'm trying to do it without looking at my phone. Yeah, Andorra on Saturday. World Cup qualifier against Andorra. Saturday.
So Serbia is Mitrovic's team, isn't it?
Yes.
Interesting.
I can't seem to find Scotland's other game. They play Belarus on Monday, so not massive games. But yes, the transfer window closes at 7 o'clock on Monday. So we will be live for that, guys. Make sure you join us. We will be going live at about 6:30, just to catch the last hour, half an hour of the transfer window. We'll probably do a couple hours after, just in case anything comes through. Obviously, being an early one this year due to the Club World Cup, it's kind of throwing a spanner in the works. It's not a late one, but we'll probably do a couple hours like we have done the last couple of years, and get your thoughts and any transfer announcements that come through. We'll get them live to you on here. But yeah, international break. I think I worked out at 9 players that could be going for international games. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot different. 4 years ago, where we had Bielik, was it?
Yeah.
Went away to Poland, or that was it. But
or Kukrao with what was his name? Bakuna. That's his name. Yeah.
Carousel. I'm a worried Blues fan, lads. Think we might finish bottom half. Are the signings that good? Don't mean to be negative, just worried. I don't think I'd be that worried, Paul. We've got a lot of quality, but I get where you come from. Do we have a lot of quality, but they're not going to gel? Obviously, that then don't work. But I feel like Davis has got a good management style. He focuses on that connection. It's like he plays ultimate teams, and he's got to get that 100 chem. He's quite good with getting those players that build that up, rather than.
Also, if you think about it, we've actually had a very, very similar start to last year, and we ended up breaking a global points record. So I wouldn't be that bothered, to be honest. So it's a very, very similar start to what we had last year.
What was our start last year? Because we drew with Reading first game of the season, didn't we?
Drew 1-1, lost in the cup to Fulham. And then
2024-25 season. Well, that's not this year, is it? Here we go.
Was it Drew 1-1 or Drew 1? Drew 1-1, lost in the cup.
We faced Reading, drew 1-1. Then we played Charlton, won in the cup. We beat Wickham with a late one. Beat Leighton Orient, lost to Fulham, and then went on to beat Wigan 2-1.
It's
Then
exactly
beat
the
Wrexham
same.
3-1. So beat Leicester this weekend, and we've got, like you said, literally the exact same start of what we had last season. So I wouldn't be too worried. We'll get 112 points still. We'll just
Yeah,
the cup final instead.
Yeah, because 111 points is just a standard season now.
That's
So
easy peasy work.
112 this year. No, but they're similar start to last year, so I'm not too bothered. Last year we had obviously 17 new faces learning to gel. This year we've got 10, but realistically we're going to have 3 or 4 per game coming in. So
yeah,
when I think the biggest shock yesterday was the amount of changes plus 3 new faces. If you bring those 3 on around the other 8 players that have been in the team like our main team, I don't think you see that much of a difference. I think it was because it was a team of 11 that pretty much have never played together.
yeah.
So that was always going to be the case. But I think we'll turn it around. I don't think yesterday was anything more than a blip on the score sheet that in 3 weeks we won't even be thinking about it. So I wouldn't worry.
It does make me wonder. Obviously, we talked about Stansfield being out, and I put it in the group chat yesterday. No one thought it was hilarious. I thought that was quite funny. But we spoke about obviously giving man the match to Kumas as our Blues Focus. We give a win, draw, or lose. We give one every game. I thought Ethan Laird should have had it. We should give him every game of the season. Obviously, winning the last 3. With Cochrane being fit, Asai Samuel being fit, Laird being fit, who are your 2 fullbacks going into Leicester? Because I think it's really hard right now to say I'm going to drop Laird. Cochrane is quality on that left hand side, where I think Laird has that little bit of a different dynamic. But then Asai Samuel's doing the job on the right, and it's kind of, who are you dropping from the 3?
Personally, I would have Laird and Bright, and give Cochrane 20 minutes at the end, just to give him that little bit of, so he's still getting the minutes in. Laird is doing ample cover. We don't really want to risk Cochrane that much. Give him like the 20 minutes, and then he's got the international break to fully heal. I think that's the way I'd play it. If they're all fit, that is a headache that I would not want for Chris Davis.
Yeah. So obviously going on to Monday. We seem to have segued away from international. We'll come back to World Cup later, another time. Maybe next week in the international break, we will still be live. We'll probably focus a bit on the transfer window. So we'll be live on Monday doing the transfer deadline, and live again on Wednesday, where we will do a summary up of the transfer window. We will finally have Dan back with us, so there'll be the 3 of us again next week. So we'll have Dan back. Might get him to start speaking Italian to everyone, because he tried to hide that from us that he speaks Italian. But we'll have Dan back. So on Wednesday we will probably do a sum up of the England game as well, just obviously talk about that. But transfer window shut in Monday. Who's leaving is a conversation we don't really have that much of. That we see a lot of rumours back coming in. I'll happily go and name a player first. I think Samstead is done at the club after yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a few people that have said the same thing. Maybe Leonard, maybe Dykes, Taylor Gardner Hickman maybe out on a loan.
I think those 3, Samstead, Taylor Gardner Hickman, and Leonard, will be the 3. I don't think we'll ditch Dykes.
But if we bring in the striker that he's wanting, do you then see Dykes go? Do you see Dykes maybe being used in like an agreement where for example, we get Mitrovic and we'll send Dykes over to Saudi.
I can imagine. It comes down to Gary's point there, to be honest, doesn't it? This exact chat is Kyogo will start scoring. Obviously, he had a very, very limited playing time last season, and he's come back in. Obviously, his movement is still great. He's getting himself in those positions. He just needs to put it in the net, and I think as soon as we start seeing that, I know he scored obviously with Gray's assist, but if he had missed that one, I think he would have been sold there and then. But I think once he starts scoring off his own back, I think we'll see him fly. So I do think that's coming. I do think Stano's got a few goals in him, other than the odd penalty up the Pensfield. But does Lyndon Dykes bring us goals? Clearly in the 90th plus minute. But we haven't really, I would say, got someone where I almost bank on a goal a game. But I think we have now got a very fluid front five in Kyogo, Stano, Dimi, Keshi, and someone like Doyle, where I think they're all going to score loads of goals for us rather than it focusing on one player.
One person I'm going to mention that I think had the rough end of it that would be perfect in that 10 role and is going to do a job. Willemson has impressed me a lot the last few games because he is clearly showing he's got a point to prove, and he's making that point clear. He's coming into games and changing the games and controlling them and doing what he needs to do. I feel like if he can get that gelling with Dimi and Keshi like he had at the beginning, I said it the other day, we've got the Thor now that we had at the beginning of last season. The one that everyone loved, everyone liked. That's what we have right now. If we can keep him fit, I think he'll be very influential for us.
He's
but
another one that can score goals.
Yeah, but going on that point of, obviously we've said it about Kyogo not scoring and stuff. I think Leicester, that's why I said Leicester's going to be a big game, because when you come into a club and you're a £9 million player in the Championship, you're kind of thinking, right, I'm the most expensive player here. But then you're coming into a team that's got a £20 million man already there that everyone loves and everyone talks about, and it's all about him kind of thing. I think without Stansfield on the pitch and not having that pressure of trying to set him up every time, I think Kyogo's going to thrive off it, and I think we'll see a different style of Kyogo. I seen a comment earlier
that Willemson played to Kyogo the other day, which Kyogo just put wide of the post. That was an unreal connection between those two.
Yeah,
like, the ball was perfect from Willemson. Kyogo's run was perfect. It was perfect up until the very side of the net, I guess. And that's a great point there as to at the beginning of the season last year as well. We had Willemson running all over the place, passing. He was actually like making an effort, and then it felt like after his injury, he just, I don't know if he was worried about his body, like resustaining the injury. But then I feel like we've got that fearless side of Willemson again now. And we did say
I feel like
at the beginning of the
pre-season
season,
to 100%.
yeah, we did say in pre-season, like, this could be the Willemson that we wanted. He's going to have a little bit more time on the ball to turn, swivel his massive head, and play the ball. And I'm completely here for a Willemson and Dykes redemption arc, like I was for the Sunjic redemption arc the other year. And that went well when everybody actually started getting behind them and stopped making them the scapegoat. So I'd love that for them both. Honestly, would.
Yeah, but I think we've got a lot of players there that have got potential, and like you said, it with Willemson is. I think the thing that surprised me the most about him the other day against Oxford we know he can pull them intricate passes off, and he can pull off. He can swivel, and for a big guy, he can turn. The thing that I was most surprised was he was jumping for headers.
Mm.
The last season, that was a lot of the issue was he don't jump for headers. He's 6'4" and he doesn't jump and he don't go for the ball. I think the other day you seen it against Oxford, like Allsop played a ball like he does to the top of a 50 pence, and Willemson's ran 10, 11 yards and jumped to try and get the flick on, and I was like, you didn't do any of that last season. I feel like we've got a different player this year because he knows now the competition's a lot more. And I feel like last season, maybe when he come back from his injury, he thought he'd been that good and his position was concrete, that he didn't need to perform at his best to be selected. Where I feel like now he knows he's got people like Doyle, Dimmy, Keshi, and these kind of players that are going to come in, and Kumas coming in as well, that are going to take his role if he doesn't play it properly. And I think we're going to see a big redemption from him this season. I feel like he's going to be a massive player this year. I said it, and people hound me for it, but I feel like he will be one of our best players this year. And it's one of those where I think he's only going to get better once he plays more with the team. But like I said about Kyogo is, if you haven't got that pressure on you now, and someone said it earlier, we don't seem to shoot. We're trying to pass the ball in.
Yeah,
we're getting to the edge of the box and we're trying to make that. We're trying to get that pass in, where I feel like we need to just have a shot. But think about it. Yesterday we had the chance where the ball's dropped to the edge of the box, and I'm thinking, just a nice little dink over the top. You've got 8 players in the box, and Mark Leonard goes for a shot from 30 yards out, and he just drags it wide, and you're like, it's the 85th minute of a game. You're 1-0 down to a team division below you, and you're going for trying to score a screamer from there. It's choosing when's the right time, but at the moment we just seem to, we want to pass it in. I feel like we need to get a bit more ruthless and take them shots on. Iwata, every time he gets the ball about 20 yards out and he's got 2 yards of space, he's hitting the ball. Paik seems to have picked that up this season, where he's now not scared to have a go, even though he does Fabrice Mwamba it most of the time, put it in row Z. But the strikers that need to be shooting are trying to pass it too much, and I feel like that's where they need to change that.
That was Pep's problem at one point, is everybody just tried to pass it in, and then they got someone like Erling Haaland that's just like, I'm going to shoot every time I've got the ball, and look how that worked out for him in his first season. So I think that shocked a lot of people, because they expected that pass,
Yeah.
and then it actually come down to a point where it's like, just shoot, because if you shoot and get it on target, the keeper spills it, you got someone like Kyogo or Stano there, they're smacking it in. Like that's where we've got players like Dimmy, Paik, Iwata, Doyle, Willemson that can shoot like from outside the box. We need them to be doing that more, and I do think Kumas will as well, because he showed that, like, one of his first couple of touches was him coming inside and then shooting. It was a terrible shot, but like it was an idea, and it was like, okay, that's promising that he's done that to start with.
Yeah, I think one of our problems at the moment as well is you see a lot of our chances. We get the ball into that 12 yards where we're taking the shot, and they're kicking the floor as they're doing it, or it's a very timid pass. There's no power on it because they're taking too many touches and putting it into an area where sometimes if you've got 3 players in front of you and you know you can hit it hard and low, it might hit them and go the wrong way, wrong for the keeper. But I think we tried to play it too much. There was a situation yesterday where Stansfield got the ball on the left. He's run down the left wing. They've put 3 players on him and he tried to go through them. And I'm like, pass the ball at this point.
Yeah.
Don't try and do it. You're out on the wide. But then there's other times where there's 1 player in front of them. They're in the middle of the box and they're trying to pass it to a guy stood by 3 players. And you're like, there needs to just be that little bit more communication of not the fans just shouting shoot every time Iwata gets the ball, but other players taking that instinct to go in.
I think that's why Dimmy's exciting, because he can go either way, and he's happy to come on the inside and shoot, or he's happy to run round you. And I think we saw from that first game that he played for us when he was back, the amount of times he cut in and then tried that shot across the goal,
Yeah.
like that'd scare me as a defender, not knowing if he's gonna run me right to shoot or run me left to cross it in. And if he's faster than me, that puts me in a real situation. I've got to like predict where he's going to be, or I've got to be spot on.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we need to exploit that more. Really, Keshi doesn't really shoot that much. I think Doyle, not Doyle, Kumas will shoot a bit more. And then you got someone like Laird who always wants to cross. I wish some of the positions he gets in, if he just low and hards it across the goal, sometimes like when he's come down the wing and then he's cut inside and then he's cut across, he's then looking to get a little pass away. If he just has a go, that could go anywhere. Could get a rebound and it goes in. It could go in the top bins. It could like fall straight to Stano and he pass it in. Like we don't have that at the moment. And like I said, like you said, they are trying too hard to pass it into the net rather than just having a go.
There was a situation though against Oxford on Saturday where that happened, where Asai Samuel got the ball down the right, cut into the defender, and he just drilled it across the box. Keith made save. Not a single Blues player ran on. They all just stopped at the edge of the box, expecting it to be passed back. And sometimes you sit there and you go, just throw yourself forward. If it doesn't come forward, it doesn't come forward. Next time it might. But we don't have that instinct just to get on the end of balls. And I think Laird great when he attacks. Absolutely love watching Laird play. But I did see a point on Twitter that I do kind of stand by of he spends too much time getting to the edge of the box and then going, I'm going to go this way, I'm going to go that way. And by the time that you've actually got the ball to where you want it to go, the other team have got all 10 players behind the ball and they've all marking a player and it's not there. Sometimes I feel like he just needs to run down the right and just stick it in. Run down the right, you cut it on your left, just play it straight out, where sometimes he stops. Yesterday he did it and it infuriated me quite a bit. He'd get to the edge of the box and he just stops. And he was stood still with the ball for about 4 or 5 seconds. And I'm like, that's 4 or 5 seconds you've allowed them just to, and their players didn't close him down. They all just run back, stood in their line, and he was screwed then. And we had to go back to Neumann and back to Cashin because it wasn't a point. But I feel like sometimes it would be good if he just look at Cochrane. Cochrane will put the ball in the box 35 yards out.
Yeah.
He'll put the ball in wherever he gets a chance to put a ball in. Or he utilises it, runs straight down the ring, runs right down the wing, and puts that ball across. I feel like if we get that bit more where we're getting the ball into the box and just shooting, we might be a bit better off. I might get more goals. Where at the moment, like I said,
I do think we are due to smash someone 4-5-0. And I really do like the way we play. We will do it, but we just need to get there and start putting the chances in the goal. That's the thing we'll see the biggest difference, and I think that's the difference between the automatics and the playoffs this year. It'll be not 1-0 wins. I think we need to be putting some big scores in because goal difference is so big towards the end of the season.
Yeah. Like Lee said it there, he thinks that we'll win the playoffs. But when you talk about goals that make a big point in games, look at Coventry's result from the weekend. QPR aren't one of those teams that you'd like, oh, okay, they're pushovers. 7-1. And Coventry just absolutely annihilated them. And it was kind of like, okay, Coventry are here for business and they're being serious. They're going to put goals past anyone they can. We need to be that ruthless. And I feel like sometimes last season, we had the game where we won 4-0. I think we played someone 4-0. And Barnsley, maybe. It was like 4-0 and 6-0 within the space of a couple of weeks. Or a couple of games, whatever it was. And at that point, I was like, this is what we need to keep doing. We need to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And we've said it for the last couple of years. We need to just go in the championship, batter someone all over the park, smash as many goals as we can, and then make a statement. And it just seems to be the point where we always fail. We're always getting a 1-0 lucky win or a 2-1. And like you said, I feel like it could come down to the point of goal difference stopping us from going up.
Goal difference has been instrumental in the last few seasons in the Championship, and we really need to kill off games. Like, we go all guns blazing. We have like 10 chances, then we score 1 goal, and then we don't have another chance then for 25 minutes. And what we need to do is just keep playing with that whilst we're up, be up, and put it in. Go again. Man City always play like it's 0-0. That's the biggest thing for them. They don't care if they're 5-0 up; they're still going to win 1-0 in their head, like that. And that's could be the biggest difference down the other end of the season.
If we, before we go, because we're 10 minutes left or so, I said to you that I wanted to aim to have a discussion about something other than Birmingham City football whilst we're on these. Not sure how many of you would have seen this, but what were your thoughts on Anthony Gordon's red card against Liverpool the other day?
I've not seen it.
Not seen it.
No.
Let me know in the comments if you've seen it and what you think. I originally seen it, and was like the rest, like some of the other lads in the chat, it was not a red card. Obviously, if you get the chance to watch the replay, he basically glides his studs, in the nice way of putting it, down the back of Van Dijk's legs. And
Right.
you see these challenges that are getting worse and worse in football. And I remember being at the Birmingham Arsenal game when Eduardo broke his leg.
Yeah.
Obviously, Martin Taylor, that was complete accident. But you see these players that just go in, and I'm just trying to stop the game, and they're slowing down. Do you think there should be a different punishment for them kind of red cards in football? Or
so
do
was
you
it
still
a malicious tackle? Did he just kick him or what?
So Van Dijk's got the ball.
Yeah.
He's played the ball forward. Gordon's caught him late, but he's like stamped down on the back of his leg, and there's a mark about that long down the back of Van Dijk's legs of his studs. But he's come in 1 foot down, like slide across the floor, and the other one stamping down.
Yeah.
Obviously, I watched it first. I was like, never a red card, and then I watched the highlight, and I was like, oh, that's 100% red card. But these kind of challenges, do you think there should be other punishment when it is a blatant late tackle? It's a malicious tackle. Do you think there should be something different for those kind of challenges, or do you reckon a 3-match ban?
I think there should be severities of red cards. I do think there should be a 3 or a 5-match ban, because some tackles where people are going in 2-footed or doing like stamps on purpose, like they can be so dangerous that could end someone's career. Like, look at Eduardo, for example, in that game. 1 bad tackle. There's no malicious intent from Martin Taylor, but if that had been someone, well, that ended Eduardo's career basically, didn't it? So, like, and then if someone is actually going in with that intent to take someone down or hurt them, I absolutely think, and I think some of these conservative fouls where you just foul the player to stop the attack. I think there should be another level of yellow card as well, where it's not quite a red card. Maybe they get like a 2-match ban.
Sin bin, maybe 10 minutes on the side of the field, because that was brought in, and I don't think I've ever seen it used in a professional game. Where I've seen it used in Sunday League, but I've never seen a professional game the rule of, for example, telling a ref to fuck off is meant to be a 10-minute sin bin, like they do in rugby. Yellow card, yellow card besides down.
Player the other day for Ipswich, where he was like, "Fuck off,
Sheffield United in the cup,"
and he's just literally told him straight to his face 5 times, clear as day, there on camera. How's that not been picked up? Like, how is he not facing further action for doing what he did?
As a referee as well, being qualified, the law is if you tell a referee or an official directly swear at them, it's an immediate yellow card. So he'd already been yellow carded just before for a bad tackle. So you sit there and you go, well, surely that's a red card. But I feel like too many refs are scared to give them yellow cards out for them kind of things because it's, well, what did you send him off for? Well, he told me to fuck off. And people are like, yeah, but it's just the heat of the game and blah. But obviously that one you could see it was very clearly was directly at him.
And it was more than once. It wasn't just a fuck off. It was
like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, get out my face now. And you're like,
Chuz put it, Clara did a really bad challenge the other day. Looked a stone cold stunner. If he did a stone cold stunner in the middle of the ring, I'm surprised he didn't get red carded. But in the middle of the ring, in the middle of the pitch, but
too much wrestling.
Yeah, I'm watching it too much. I honestly can't tell you what challenge you're on about. But yeah, I feel like the punishment in football should be there should be different levels to it.
Yeah.
As silly as it sounds, if you're getting done for betting, you get an 8-month ban. Yeah, you're ending someone's career with a bit of a challenge. It's kind of like a deliberate challenge. You deliberately going into hurt him. Like Gordon may not have meant it against Van Dijk in a way, but you're an ex-Everton player who's had a lot of heat with Liverpool in the past and Van Dijk, and you've got in a tackle like that. You're late. Kind of seems a bit deliberate. I feel like there needs to be.
Did Van Dijk show the ref the mark?
Yeah, the camera panned to it in the screen, and it went to VAR, and he got sent off. So the referee originally didn't give a red card. I think he gave a yellow. Went to VAR, and it got overturned to a red, and he got sent off. But he'll have a 3-match ban and come back and then do it all over again. And I feel like I just feel like there should be a different thing. Yeah, that Robinson for Sheffield United was telling the ref to fuck off a few times too. Obviously, you get it swearing. I said earlier, I went to watch had the privilege of going to photograph the under-18s game yesterday. Very good game, and I said to you beforehand, there's a few players for that under-18s team. Give it a couple of years, and I'd be not surprised if they're in the first team. There's a guy in goal who was destined to play for the Blues with a surname of Birmingham. He's got to play for Blues at some point. But there's a lad. I'm not going to say names, obviously, due to their ages and stuff. But there was a lad that played in the cam position that was an incredible player. He's got a good career ahead of him. Maybe a little bit too flashy sometimes.
Yeah.
And trying to play, but when you've got the kind of players he had around him, fast wingers, we've obviously spoke about before that Chris Davies wants to implement the same playing style all the way through, and you could see Chris Davies' style with the team yesterday. I definitely feel like that lad's got a young future, whether it's with us or whether he goes out on loans for a couple of seasons. But if he ever does come through, I will clip this part of the video and tell you that's who I was talking about. Only because I don't want to get in trouble for saying names and stuff. Obviously, like I said, their ages are quite important. But there's a few players on there that I'd keep an eye out for. I think Academy coming through. Definitely need to, if you don't already, I'd have a look at some of their matches and some of the players that we've got in the academy. Obviously, we've got a history of bringing through good players. Jude, Job, Jack Butland, Dimmy, obviously, gone on, had a good career. Do you think is there anybody you've heard of that's currently in our academy that kind of gets you excited?
Bateka.
Zaid Bateka, yeah.
Yeah.
He played really well in
pre-season. Insane. And then he came up during the pre-season and looked really tasty. I think he could be a serious player to watch in the future. I don't know that many more. That's not my side of Blues Focus, but I do like the look of Bateka. He would be one that I would. We may see him go out on loan before the season the transfer window ends. And I think somewhere in League One would be like a fairly decent loan for him to really get like consistent game time.
He gives me Ramal Donovan vibes, which I was gutted that we sold Donovan because he's honestly a great player. There was a lad yesterday called Dan Isekai was on our bench. Now I was talking to a few of the lads around the game yesterday. Nothing but good words about him. Few of the staff members that have worked with him in the past all reckon he's got a bright future.
He was on the first team bench, wasn't he?
He was on the first team bench, yeah, and that's where I think like cup games where I say I'm not really gutted we're out, but I kind of am. Is I feel like that's where we get the chance to see these kind of players.
Yeah.
Definitely would say if anyone gets the chance to, or if Blues do any live streaming of academy games, I would definitely check out some of the young players we've got coming through. A lot of talent there, a lot of prospects that are coming good. I've said it since day one. We seen him in a, I can't think it was a cup game or something. I've said it for years. Brad Mayo will be our number one at some point,
Yeah.
and I think he will be our number one. I kind of feel like he's in and around the players that he gets a lot of experience from. Allsop, Mike Taylor coaching him. He's now got James Beadle come in.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to go places and be another Butler and stuff like that. But and then again, with the women's are signing players as well. I feel like they're getting a backing from the owners as well. It's kind of nice to see that they've set a record for the most season tickets sold or something like that this season to what they've normally had. So it's all good around the whole club at the moment, not just the first team. I think it's important to speak about that and notice not just the first team, but everywhere else seems to be improving as well.
Yeah.
But I said I went to West Hills yesterday, as it was. It's now Nighthead Performance Centre. Obviously, spoke to you on the phone.
Yeah.
The place is mental. It's a lot of improvement since we were there. It's huge. And obviously, they announced that indoor football pitches. Indoor dome thing. I tried to show you that, but there was people training in it, so I didn't want to get in trouble. But that looks incredible. That is huge. The inside there's like 2 pitches. It's huge. Definitely got owners that come in at the right time to. I don't think we could have asked for better ones, really, could we?
No. What they've done, even knowing they're going to knock it all down and build houses on it or whatever they're going to do in a few years, like it isn't their main goal, and everybody's happy with where St Andrews is now.
Yeah.
Just imagine what it's going to be like when we get the whole stadium, and it's just going to be insane. But leads me on to that video I sent you that I found on Twitter the other day.
Yes.
That got me so excited. Honestly, I had goosebumps watching that whole video. I was
Yeah.
like, holy wow. There's like a video on there that I saw that it's like a digital render of like a stadium going up, and then pictures around a sport club shop, stuff like that. It was really good, wasn't it? That video.
Yeah.
And it
was
really
basically
gave me
like
goosebumps.
it was basically like a announcement video of what was to come.
Yeah.
That potentially a fan had made of what he would like it to look like.
Yeah.
And yeah, that stadium looked incredible. I am really worried they're going to put a bowl in. Being American,
I don't think we'll get a bowl. I think with the amount of fan-led engagement that would come from it, I know how much they watch like our stuff on socials and stuff. We are not getting a bowl. I would be confident to say we wouldn't be getting a bowl.
I actually read an article the other day that was about Tom Brady in an interview in America, and he said the new Birmingham City Stadium is going to be like a spaceship, because what is going to be in it is going to blow people's minds. The technology that's going into the stadium and all this. He goes, it's going to be like a spaceship of, it looks small on the outside, but massive on the inside. And I remember going back to, we went to obviously SoFi Stadium a couple of years ago in LA. And that, don't get me wrong, it's a stadium, it's massive on the outside. But once you went inside,
Yeah.
it was huge. It was like it felt like it got like 3-4 times bigger inside.
Yeah.
So definitely excited to see. I've seen a lot of Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah.
To
Because
reference
it's
the one
brick.
everyone thinks
Yeah.
it looks like a factory. But again, looks like a small little building you'd find in Birmingham, and then you go inside and there's a massive
That
62.
SoFi Stadium, that absolutely blew my mind how big the inside style. Like, you know, we've got like drink stands and all that sort of stuff at St Andrews. That SoFi Stadium is so big that those drink areas where you go at half time to get your refreshments and stuff, and the toilets felt like they were about the size of St Andrews.
Yeah.
And then you go out and then you walk to where the chairs are, and it's just ginormous. And but the thing is, we originally went right the way up to the very, very top of that. We were there for WrestleMania, and you could still see the ring really clearly, even though we were in the sky. Obviously, we ended up getting down to ringside eventually, but to see how big it still looked from up in the sky, football from that distance would still look awesome.
Yeah, because people are tiny when you sit up in the stands. Especially when you look at football stadiums in the UK, tend to be 2 tiers.
Yeah.
I think we were on level 5.
Yeah.
So
But
we
they
were well
stack
up.
them on top of each other.
They stack over. But football would look really good on there. Like, I don't know if you've seen many photos of it from Everton. Had their first game in the Premier League at their new stadium the other day.
I did. I watched a video of their fans, and
Yeah,
it looked actually quite good.
their stadium looks really nice. And I said to my partner at the time, I said it gives me a kind of Tottenham vibe,
Yeah.
but just not as big. I don't actually know what the capacity difference is between them, but it's
Ours is
very
10,000 more, so they're like 50 odd thousand in that then.
yeah.
So we're
So
going
it's
to have
exciting
10,000
to see
more fat fans.
what's going to happen. Obviously, a lot to go on. The thing that I got curious about, we went and did, courtesy of our OSC last year, we went and did stadium tour around St
Yeah.
Andrews, and we got talking to, I can't remember what the guy's name was. Malcolm, was it the
Yeah.
tour
I think it was
guide?
Malcolm, the tour guide.
Yeah,
Legend.
and he said to us that Wagner and Brady were doing work to the main stand this summer to try and get it on par with the Girl Merrick. Obviously, that hasn't happened now. I wonder if
Yeah.
that means they thought there was going to be a delay with the new stadium, and turns out there hasn't been, or what that is. But obviously, we'll never know with that. So it's exciting to be where we are, and obviously new stadiums come in and
I
stuff
think
like
that
that.
could have been a backup for if they didn't get the transport links, because he said about they were talking about putting a restaurant above where the tunnel is as well.
Yeah,
But
a little
none of
castle,
that's
isn't it?
none of that's actually come in either. So it's kind of like, oh, did that transport announcement go a lot smoother than what they thought?
Yeah,
And they thought maybe they'd have an appeal process, and then it'd be another year delay and whatnot. And it's actually gone through and happened, and they're like, oh, okay, let's full send this then. Let's
yeah,
not bother spending like a mil doing that. Let's just spend a mil clearing the grounds and
yeah. Obviously, I
doing
don't know
what's
if,
needed.
don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. There's a group obviously now in it. What was Birmingham Wheels that have been cleaning the site off. They put posts up
Yeah, I've seen a few of
every
their
day or
videos.
every couple of days. Clara's cuisine. Clara's cuisine could be the name of the calf. But
The
this group
Duke's
goes
head.
in. Yeah, the Duke's head, that'll work. But this group obviously going in and clearing the land, so obviously that's now all underway and stuff. I don't know if you've seen the video as well. The Birmingham Mail or something like that put up that last week they had the first successful trial run of the tram through Digbeth. They did it at 2 o'clock in the morning, obviously when it was quiet, and the tram lines all worked, and it successfully went from, I think it was like Wolverhampton to Birmingham, up to wherever they've took it to now. I don't quite know. But they've had that come in place now, and obviously that's then going to extend onto Curzon Street, which is where they're going to put the HS2 line in, and down by the new ground. So it's all looking good that the work they're needing to put in before they can build the stadium is now all being tested, and it's all being sorted, and it's all going well, and the positive side of it. So hopefully it means that we still
Did you
get
watch Nick Smith's video the other day that they put out?
No, is that the structure guy?
Yeah.
No, I haven't
Where
seen that
he's basically like, at the end of October, we will be finding out who. So at the moment, they narrowed it down from 38, I think he said, initial architects. They're down to now
Okay.
5.
Okay.
We will know by the end of October which architect has been selected. But right now they're doing like digital renders and stuff like that themselves, and then they're going to go and vote to see which one would win, and that'll show like the inside and outside of the stadium and everything. So I don't know whether we get that announcement as to this would be our plans, or if they'd want planning permission first. But I do think we get some sort of big announcement in and around my birthday, which would be lovely. Which Blues, if you're watching, 15th of October, great day to drop a nice summary of what our new stadium would look like. That'd be a great birthday present, so I'd appreciate that.
Or they could go one better. Millwall at home, 4th November, my birthday. They could have a 3D structure outside the ground for everyone to see. Could be. Or we just get it for Christmas. No Christmas Blue Noses. Here's your new ground. It's one of those, but I'm excited to see what it looks like. I don't know if I will be as excited if it does turn out to be a bowl. Chuzza's going to rob you all your ID now. He's got your birthday and your name.
Yeah, Chuzza. I'll send you my address so you can send me a present.
If it's a bowl, I want to see. If it's going to be a bowl, it needs to be having concerts, American football, tennis. Like you look at what Bernabeu have done, where they've now got what is it? Tennis courts, badminton courts.
Do you know what I think we'll get with the technology? Because they keep saying like it's going to be groundbreaking and all that. You know, the Sphere. I think we're going to get something like that. If we got like an entertainment venue like the Sphere, that would be cool outside, because that is like an epic building. Like that is another level. In obviously Las Vegas, the Sphere was absolutely insane. And then you go inside, and the concerts they're putting on and stuff in there as a music venue also look insane because it's so interactive. Yeah. If we get something like that, or do we get something like that in the ground, where maybe like a fan zone area where they put, in Los Angeles where there's that bar where it's
just about to say that. Do they open a bar where you feel like you're in the game, and we get that for away fixtures?
As a fan zone area for away games, something like that, where you pay £1 a ticket to go in, or something stupid, so it pays for itself, or you pay £5 to go in, but you get a pint free. Something like that would be cool.
Wagner, if you're watching still, mate.
Yeah,
this is what we want.
Hit me up, business development manager. I'll sort you out. Like it could really, really work in terms of like covering the costs. Like people would pay £5, £10 to go to the pub and keep it and get a free pint out of it.
Yeah,
because especially if we got something like the size of the box to box bar, like where it's just a ginormous area. You could get a couple of 100 fans, have it as a proper box park area. It'd be insane. And that could be called the Duke's Head.
I do agree with Chuzza that I would like it if we kept modernised, like with the groundwork, the technology,
Yeah.
but a good old traditional English stadium.
I do think something like the Lucas Oil Stadium is what we'll kind of get, though. I do think there'll be a lot of brick and a bit of glass.
Especially of the skyline, if they've got that kind of view.
Yeah, because they said they wanted it to
nice.
fit into the area. Now, if you actually ask AI to use the area that it's built in to base the state, do you remember when we were doing this? If you say use the area of the wheels, Birmingham Wheels site to build a 60,000 seater stadium based on buildings in the local area, 8 times out of 10 it makes a brick building.
Yeah, I think that's why you look at trying to fit it in to. They always say they want to make it a community place and build on the city and stuff. You build it in to work with the community. I wouldn't be surprised if there's stained glass window, like
I
our
wouldn't
home
actually be
shirt
surprised
announcement.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually buy that church and do something with it.
Yeah,
I would not be
something
surprised
like that.
at all.
Something like that on the front of the stadium, where you'd have the well, obviously you can't access it from inside, but stained glass windows coming down, and you've got different players on it, like Francis and Duke and Karen Carney and Clara and so on, that are in them stained glass windows, and or even if you have the current team in it, I
And
wouldn't be
like Tommy
surprised if we end up
Shelby
with something
and
like that.
stuff like that around on little
Yeah,
windows. I do think now,
it,
because that church is abandoned. I watched shout out to the boy in blue, Jay. I watched his video the other day on when they go and visit the site of the old church. And where they're going around it, and he says like it's been abandoned for years and years and years. It was a homeless shelter last time it was used for anything. Like it's just there withering away. If I was Birmingham City, knowing that, and now they've used the stained glass window from it, I'm doing something with that building for sure. Especially with the regeneration of the area, like you could put something cool in that. You could make that the club, like a second club shop, or you could make that anything. It could be anything, but like
well,
that would be
obviously,
cool to see the original Birmingham City thing, and that's where you host. Put it as now they bought the cricket. They could put that as the cricket ticket office.
Yeah. But it does make you wonder. There's a lot of obviously potential. They apparently brought the Garrison as well pub, and they want to turn it back into a working pub. Obviously, that was left in a really bad
Flats now,
state.
isn't it?
Is it flats? I thought they were turning it back into a pub.
Oh, I thought it had been turned into flats now.
It might have been. I'm not 100% sure. But if you've got to name the stadium, obviously we're assuming. Well, I feel like it's going to be get your tickets in God's house. I'm assuming it's going to be like Knighthead Park, something along the lines of Knighthead,
I think
maybe
we'd have a massive sponsor come in.
I feel like we get something like Delta, so it'd be like the Delta Airlines Arena or something like that.
The Delta Dome.
Yeah. But if you had to name the 4 stands, obviously at the moment we've got the Gilmerick, the Cop, the Family Stand or Arthur's area, and the Tilton being the main one. What St Andrews at Birmingham Wheels? That is a shout. What are you naming them? Because I feel like one of them is going to be like Garrison Lane or something like that. One will probably be like Curzon Street if it's on the train line.
I would be surprised if we still don't have a Tilton.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if it wasn't still called the Tilton, but yeah, Curzon Street could be a name of one. I think they should name. I think Arthur's area would become a whole kids fan zone area rather than a stand. And then I'd have maybe the one where most of the commercial side of things are. I'd name that stand something to do with like a sponsor, i.e., the undefeated stand, or if we get something like obviously Hertz, something like that.
Do you end up with, as silly as it sounds, obviously I know his statue will be moved, but do you get the Trevor Francis stand? Like we've got the Gil Merrick at the moment, do we end up with like the Trevor Francis stand instead? Do we get one player, one sponsor, one train, and then a fan chosen name? And do you think they'll already know them, or do you reckon they will allow fans to poll for names?
I do think they'll have a lot of fan engagement in it, and I think even the buildings and the road names around the area could be very much fan led. I'm hoping for Kieran from Blues Focus Street. That would I'd probably, with a nice bar though, a really good bar on there, and maybe a nice takeaway.
So I'm getting current graphics sent through to me from the main man. I am going to give a shout out here because I love to embarrass him as much as I can. So congratulations to Adam and his partner who have just got engaged.
Yes.
Adam is the leader of the owner of Blues Focus. Not many of you will know who he is, but he is a guy that runs everything from behind the scenes.
He's very camera shy.
Yeah, him and his girlfriend have just got engaged, so congratulations to them.
Yeah.
Wish you all the best.
Yes, it is called Cosm Beechwood.
Yes, I was just about to point out this one. I feel like we'd get it. It'd be like Costas or something like Costas Green.
Goster Green. It was. We went to watch WrestleMania.
Yeah, I feel like that's the text bar we'd get, and that was where it would come in handy. That, for example, being with Brady, you'd get Super Bowls in there. You'd get obviously the Blues games. You'd maybe get World Cup finals, wrestling, boxing, MMA, UFC. You'd get all that in there, so it'd be constantly utilizing and bringing in money. Obviously, big fights, if they happen, are going to sell them out and stuff like that. So I feel like we could end up with one of those, and it'd be massive.
Yeah, that would be an absolute game changer, especially for if we have the fan park size that we're on about. Like you get in a, I don't know, 2,000 people fan park, stuff like that. I'd sell tickets like this. And I know Tom Wagner said when he first took over, we use the stadium 24 times a year.
Yeah.
24 days of the year, St Andrews is used for something.
But
like
even
the main
when
stadium is used. He
but
wants
if you
to
look
use
at the
it
swell,
365.
but if you look at swell, like okay, yeah, we have a couple of things on, like charity events and football events and game days and stuff during the off season.
Yeah.
But from beginning of May until beginning of August, the stadium's not used.
Yeah.
It undergoes work where if you've got the point of you can just take the grass off and use it for whatever, that pitch can be redeveloped without needing to be in the stadium.
Or you got an international break. You could switch the grasses over and have something else there for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like we could have a whole tournament there.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like it's definitely going to be utilised for a lot of things. And it's going to be exciting to see. I think we'll call it a day there.
Sounds like you've got chaos.
Yeah. We can't find a milk bottle. Partner's been looking for it for like 20 minutes. She's ready for bed, but she won't get to bed without milk. She's running around. So we'll leave it there, guys. Like I say every time, make sure you catch Tommy's vlogs. He is doing one, I believe, tomorrow morning. It's going out for the build up to the Leicester game. There'll be another one on Sunday night that will cover the Leicester game and some other topics. And catch up on all our other engagement content. As Tommy said, there's some big things coming for the podcast soon. We also have some big announcements ourselves coming. Hopefully, if we can sort it out potentially next week, we might have to give you some more information. But there's a lot of big things coming to Blues Focus. We are also in the middle of sorting out our next competition, so make sure you keep your eyes out for that. There's some very good prizes going into this to be won, which obviously will be open to you guys. As you'll see at the bottom, if you do want to become a sponsor or get involved with Blues Focus, you can email us at bluesfocus1@gmail.com. We're always looking to expand our family and get bigger, so we can let us know. But from us until next Monday, when we'll see you live for the transfer window closing, that is it. So make sure to give us a like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is you need to do. Keep your comments coming in, as always. Keep the conversations going. Let us know what you would like us to discuss next week. Obviously, being an international break, there won't be a Blues game necessarily to report on. So let us know what you want to talk about. If you've got any topics you'd like to discuss that we haven't covered already, or even if we have.
We will see you Monday.
And we will see you Monday. So
6
for now,
p.m.
6 p.m. Monday. Kieran's dictating we're going on at 6 p.m. So 6 p.m. Monday, we will be live. So from me, it's a goodbye. Keep right on.
Keep right on. Bye-bye.